Hello and welcome to Blockbuster Review on Prudent Media. My name is Sachin Chatte and on this program we take a look at the latest releases. Today we are going to review 3 movies starting with Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day. Steven Spielberg returns to the territory that made him a legend. From Close Encounters of the Third Kind to Extraterrestrial, few filmmakers understand extraterrestrial stories the way he does. Disclosure Day may not be the most original sci-fi thriller, but Spielberg's command of storytelling is a reminder why movie theaters can still feel magical. If you break down the plot, you'll find a few flaws and familiar beats. But great cinema is about emotional investment, and Spielberg excels at making us care about both the characters and the mystery. Working once again with writer David Koepp, cinematographer Janusz Kaminski, and composer John Williams, he sticks to the fundamentals and it works. The film opens with Daniel Kellner, played by Josh O'Connor, on the run from a government agency called Wardex, and that is led by Colin Firth's Scanlon. Daniel has stolen classified information and Wardex kidnaps his girlfriend Jane to force his hand. At the same time, meteorologist Margaret Fairchild, played by Emily Blunt, experiences a bizarre incident during a live broadcast that changes everything. Spielberg reveals the connection between these characters with remarkable clarity, keeping the story engaging without making it confusing at all. While the film functions as an effective thriller, it also explores themes of faith, morality, and power. Every major character believes they are acting for the greater good, raising questions about who gets to decide what is right. Visually, the film is stunning. Kaminski's constantly moving camera gives the movie tremendous energy, and a spectacular train sequence stand out as one of the highlights. Emily Blunt is excellent, bringing depth and conviction to a character filled with contradictions. She handles every shade with total conviction, making it look effortless when clearly it isn't. The final word spoken in the film is "listen." That feels entirely intentional, and it's a perfect note to end that film. I'm going to go with 4 out of 5 stars for Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day. And now let's take a look at Imtiaz Ali's Main Vaapas Aaunga. Now, Main Vaapas Aaunga has its heart in the right place. A love story set against the backdrop of partition and the trauma it left behind certainly has the makings of powerful cinema. Unfortunately, at over 160 minutes, Imtiaz Ali's film takes far too long to make its point. The partition of 1947 has been explored many times before in films and television, often with devastating emotional impact. The challenge then is to bring something fresh to the subject. Co-written by Imtiaz Ali and Nainika Mahatani, Main Vaapas Aaunga revisits this painful chapter of history but rarely offers a new perspective. The story begins with an elderly Sikh man played by Naseeruddin Shah who is on his deathbed and is obsessed with returning to Sargodha, which is now in Pakistan. Sargodha, if you remember, was also part of Sriram Raghavan's Ikkis. His grandson Nirvair, played by Daljit Dosanjh, flies in from London to be with him. Nirvair works as a software engineer and occasionally tries his hand at stand-up comedy with limited success. Now that doesn't stop him from performing when he arrives in India, where he finds a far more receptive audience. The jokes remain equally lame, only the audience has changed. Through flashbacks, we learn about the old man's younger years when he fell in love with Afsana, played by Sharwari, before partition tore their world apart. The film's central themes, love, loss, displacement, and generational trauma, are undeniably moving. But the storytelling often feels repetitive, and the film spends too much time emphasizing ideas that are already clear. As a result, the emotional impact gets diluted. The songs are beautifully shot, and A.R. Rahman's music adds warmth and nostalgia, even if the tracks don't always push the story forward. Among the cast, Sharwari leaves the strongest impression, delivering a performance that is both confident and deeply affecting. There's no denying the emotional power of stories about people separated by borders and history. Main Vaapas Aaunga succeeds in capturing that longing, but it struggles to justify its lengthy runtime. With a tighter screenplay and greater narrative focus, it could have been a far more powerful film. I'm going to go with 2 out of 5 stars for Imtiaz Ali's Main Vaapas Aaunga. And now let's take a look at the horror release of the week, Backrooms. Now, Backrooms is the latest entry in a growing trend, filmmakers making the jump from YouTube to the big screen. Directed by the 21-year-old Kane Parsons, it's an ambitious, high-concept horror film. The problem is, it's so wrapped up in its concept that by the end you're left wondering what it actually was trying to say. The film clearly has a built-in fan base. The theatre I watched in was packed with young viewers who seemed familiar with both the movie and its director. But when the credits rolled, the conversations I overheard weren't about theories or hidden meanings. They were about the weather and raincoats. That's probably not the reaction a mystery-driven film hopes for. The premise is certainly intriguing. Chiwetel Ejiofor plays Clark, the owner of a furniture store who one day walks through the wall and finds himself trapped in the backrooms. Backrooms are an endless maze of empty hallways and identical rooms. Getting in is easy, getting out is a completely different story. Outside of the backrooms, Clark is battling alcoholism, a failed marriage, and a personal trauma. He's also seeing a therapist played by Renate Reinsve who has emotional baggage of her own. The film hints at deeper psychological and symbolic themes but never quite brings them together in a satisfying way. Visually though, Backrooms is very impressive. Parsons has a real talent for atmosphere and world building. The production design creates a genuinely unsettling environment and some of the imagery sticks with you long after the film ends. The found footage elements, however, feel less effective. It's a storytelling device that's been used so often that it no longer carries the impact it once did. Ultimately, Backrooms feels like a filmmaker with a strong visual imagination searching for a story that matches it. If the backrooms are meant to represent the endless void of the internet and modern isolation, the film's central metaphor starts to click. The question is whether it really needed nearly 2 hours to get there. Kane Parsons shows undeniable promise as a visual storyteller. I just wish his debut feature had given us more to hold on to beyond its fascinating premise and eerie atmosphere. I'm going to go with 2 out of 5 stars for Backrooms. Frankly speaking, I was a little disappointed with it. Well, that's what I thought of the 3 films that were released this week. Do let us know what you think, and I'll be back with you next week with more movie reviews. Till then, it's goodbye from me.